All right, so we got a pretty interesting episode for you today. This is going to be one of those episodes where I guess we'll kind of call it Mythbusters a little bit, but we're going to talk a little bit about what's in the news today and why the suckers are going to be buying it, or rather selling it for that matter. So big thing that's been in the news last few days is they said COVID cases have been up, and we're going to hit on that in a little bit. And so the daily COVID cases went up. And everybody's panicking and they think the world's going to end. They walk out their front door, and who's standing there knocking on the door? Chicken freaking Little. So as a result, everybody decides they're going to sell. So you look all over here and basically you just see pretty much red across the board. You have, a green one here every once in a blue moon. Let's see. We got one green one in my watch list so far. I think there's another green one. Second green one. Basically two green. And so as a whole, we went down 6% today. I think the market went down. I forgot on what they did. They went down I'll tell you what they went down. They went down 2.5 points today for the most part. And so you're thinking, oh, this must be a bad day. Well, I'm saying no. I actually was like, all right, I told you. I get excited for the days when the market goes down. I get excited for those days when the market goes down because it gives me an opportunity to make more money. Most people don't think that way. They think, oh, if the market goes up, I'm just going to ride it like a buoy and expect to, make more money. But it really takes your decision making out of the process and keeps you from really being able to maximize the profit you can make. So we're going to hit on this in a little bit. But again, when we talk about our portfolio, a lot of people are going to talk about they want to look at current price, current value, total gain, a percent gain, and these are the ones we want to look at. But for me, the one I always focus on is cost basis. We want to get this one as low as possible. So if the market's going up, it kind of sucks in a way because, it takes away opportunities to lower your cost basis. Well, when the market went down, and I knew it was going to go down today over the weekend because of, not just the COVID data, but it's like the elections coming through and it's like a week and a half or so. And then you have the stimulus talks, which are legitimate thing to wonder about for sure. We are dealing with politicians here. But it just gave me an opportunity to look at that. And so one of the things I want to walk you through a little bit today is just, I want to take away the emotion. I want to take away the fear or the anxiety or all the stuff. You just don't need to live your life that way, right? And we're going to look over the data and kind of make heads or tails of it. So all right, so the first thing that we're going to do today, and again, we just talked about, Wall Street closing down on soaring virus cases, stimulus worries, what we just talked about, was the spread. So we're not going to necessarily look at San Diego, but we're going to look at, I basically Googled or DuckDuckGo'd U.S. COVID data breakdown, and it came up with a few pages. We're going to take a look at that today. One of the things we'll look at is the COVID tracking project. And so they basically give how many new tests, how many new cases confirmed plus probable, negative PCR tests, which are I think the nose swab ones, hospitalized, it's cumulative hospitalized. But we can take a look at the last 2 days, subtract it off, and kind of get a sense on what the gain in hospitalization is. But it's a gross hospitalization. So if somebody is in here and hospitalized and they leave, they're not going to be subtracted off of this one. But currently hospitalized, this will be the one that is kind of the better example of that. So, and then we have deaths recovered and total test results. So one of the things that we're looking at here, we'll go to this guy here, just to give you a chart before we get to the data, is, they're looking at the total cases went up, right? Every day, June 13th, again, this wasn't the low. This is when everything was opening up, was about 25,000 cases per day. And then you had the riots, right? And the riots kind of started right around here. All the riots led to the increase in cases, and states like California, where I live, decided to just go bat poo crazy, guano crazy, as we say here. And it got up to about 66,000 cases. And then the riots calmed down. Trump said, well, fine, you're going to tear down a monument. I'm giving you 10 years in prison. And that got all the rioters off the street, dropped it down to 44. But again, the case numbers went up. If we look, they were at 69,000. And they said the big headline was we had more positive cases in a day today than we've ever had, which is technically true. But we're not looking at cases like we're going to just test across the board and we're just doing a million tests a day. And therefore, when these go up, it represents the positivity ratio. Quite the opposite. We're testing more and more and more and more. So what they don't tell you, and this is where you have to have somebody that's good in math kind of jump in, is that we did 1,101,897 tests. So what we're going to do, just to give you an idea of that, 1,101. No, I take it back. 1210,497. So we're going to do 1210,497. And then we're going to take the total cases, and it's what? 82,668. And this gives us our positivity rate. So multiply it times 100. All right. And we have a 6.829 positivity rate. So that's about average. That's relative. It stayed relatively the same. The climb that you see right here basically mirrors the climb that you see right here. We have a little bit fewer cases here, and this one's steeper. It means the positivity rate dropped. This one went up, and it went up almost the same slope as we see right here. So this one hasn't changed. The only difference is we are testing way more. Now, if you look back here where it was June, let's say June 10th, 20,000 cases. If we go back to June 10th, we tested 475,399. So let's take a look at that just so you can kind of get a sense on this. 1 divided by 473, 179. And then we're going to go back to let's pick it. It's not the exact same day. 25,376. So the positivity rate was 5.33. So realistically, what we're looking at is a between the best time ever for daily cases and right now we're dealing with a 1% increase in positivity rate. So that means if they do 1,000 tests, instead of having, they basically get 10 more positive tests. So if you take 1,000 tests, normally there'd be 53 positive tests, but now there's 63. I mean, it's really not that much, or 68, whatever it is, really not that much difference. So then we got to look at one of the metrics that we looked at was currently hospitalized. And again, if you remember when we did the shutdowns, the only reason for the shutdown was to keep our hospitals from getting inundated. So we look at total hospitalized, it was way high at 60,000. Middle of June, it got down to 29. After the riots, went up to 59, but still not as high as it was before, and then dropped down to 29, and it's on its way up a little bit. But the thing is, people are in the hospital, and they're going to get out of the hospital, so that's why you see it go down and up, and you're going to see the same thing. So you're going to see this go up. I'm not sure how high it's going to go up, but the thing you got to remember is it's going to go down. So that's where we get to daily deaths. In the beginning, they didn't know how to treat it, but now we have therapeutics. We have a whole bunch of things to look at. We know how to, take care of it early on. We know who it affects more than others. And just like we see here, it went down and then went up, down and went up. It went down, but it got muted right here because this difference between this number and this number shows you the ability for us to handle this disease. So it's starting to go up again, like you see here and here, but you're going to see it start to go down. We don't have a whole lot of deaths. In a country of 300 plus million people, we had all of, less than 800 deaths today or yesterday, or reported today from yesterday. So why does it matter? Well, because people are panicking and they're selling and the stock price is going down. And we talked before, the number one thing that you want to look at is getting your cost basis down. So when the market goes down, I'm loving it. So with that being said, one of the things that I said is I need to take advantage of this. I'm not doing anything. So I pulled up my upside chart, and if for those who aren't familiar with it, you can download the chart and do the math yourself, or you watch some of the earliest videos and we'll go through it. But Some of the upsides went up, which we're really happy about. And I just said, okay, I can buy some of these stocks if I want to, or I can get one of these. I can lower the cost basis for some of these. So that's what I did. So I went over to the holdings and I said, of all the ones that I have here, which one would I want to do? So I could look at UCO, which I have pretty well invested in, IVR, pretty well invested in. I guess we can look at it here. So I can get UCO, pretty well invested in. We have 9,300 that we invested. I guess we'll start at PBF, which we're pretty well invested. We have $4,000. IVR, we're over $5,000. ICAGI's one to look at potentially, 25% in the red, and XAN, but we have almost 4,000 there. So I decided to look at that, and of the ones that we see highlighted here, there's one that really jumps out, and that ICAGI has a 68% buy rate. So I looked at that, and not only that, I went into multiple, whenever you see green here, it's where I went into multiple different analysts' websites, and I wanted to see if there's a strong buy consensus. And when you see the light blue or light green, it means there's a pretty good consensus on it. When it's in dark green, it means everybody's pretty much unanimous. And so at this point, I basically said, all right, let's do it. This is the average price target they have set up. This is the over-under. This is the ratio for it. So it's basically at a 4.31 for the price target. It's 6.21 for the February 20th price. So I went in, and initially I had this down at 225. But it's sitting at 263, and I'm thinking even if it goes down, it's probably not going to hit 225, and it's at 7.26. So I could be greedy and try to like hold out for that, but I really want to make sure that this executes. So I actually raised this up to 2.4, and we'll see if it goes down to it. It might not meet that, but a good 2.4 still gives me a 6.8 upside, and it gives me the ability to look at that. So beyond that, I think I'm pretty well set. If you look at the gains, everything else has a really strong gain that's in the positive. I think the lowest one is 16%, and there's no way in the world I'm trading DraftKings. There's no way. Braemar Resorts I'm not doing either. I guess that's 12%. So we're pretty much set on what we want to do. So I updated that one, and we'll see if that one fulfills. In the meantime, let's see, it's about 4 o'clock Pacific time right now, and the market is slated to go up. We'll see. There's going to be a correction after the drop of 600 points today. It's gonna correct back. Maybe tomorrow, maybe soon. But we basically have 3 prongs. You have the case number went up, which is so stupid, because if we look at here, there's not going to be any big, there's nobody in the news. When you watch the news or read the news, nobody's sitting here saying all the hospitals in the U.S. are inundated and they're opening up overflow rooms in the parking lot. They're just not doing that because it doesn't exist. The case numbers go up, but they're relatively healthy. And again, if we looked at San Diego, it's the same thing. If we looked at the people that died recently, they're all old, 74, 59. Well, that's not super old, but 75, 84, 64, 58, 54, 60, 71, 55, and they all have underlying health conditions. When we look at the age range, basically until you get over 80 is when it really explodes. Deaths are still on their way down. Beds in use are almost nothing. They're going to break under 200 pretty soon for the first time ever. Hospitalizations are continuing to go down. That's the key thing we're looking at. And the positivity rate, at least here in San Diego, is only 2.65. So, again, King is wearing no clothes. Chicken Little sitting outside. They're saying the sky's falling. But the only thing falling right now are your cost basis. So make sure you get something in, lower your cost basis, and make some money. Because when this goes down, if this one executes right here, this ICAGI, this is going to go down to about $3 per share. And when it bounces back, you're going to see this as a huge, huge money maker. So get in, make your deal, stop. Don't make the mistake of thinking emotionally, but just understand there's a lot of people that want to pin this COVID thing on Trump. There's a big question on the election. People are naturally anxious on a lot of things. There's a stimulus bill out there that people are unsure of. There's just so much anxiety. But if you step back and make a very logical decision and understand this isn't going to be here forever, pretty soon you're going to see a bounce back on this. And the best thing that you're going to have at your discretion, at your availability, is having a low cost basis for these stocks. So get in right now while they're still there and make some money. To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.